Hello and welcome to the Spacecraft Exploration Challenge Spacecraft Builder tutorial. My name is Alex Shane, and today I'll be walking you guys through the Spacecraft Builder. So let's get started here. I'm going to click on the Spacecraft Builder right here, and then we're going to enter the Spacecraft Builder. Create a simulation name, let's say Alex Sim or something. There we go. And we're going to select a role over here. We'll just choose Astronaut 1. We can wait for our friends, but for this tutorial, no one else is going to be joining us, so we're just going to start the simulation. Here you have a pop-up screen. You can just close out of it if you want, if you know what you're doing. Otherwise, just read through it. It's just general tips that will remind you of the stuff I tell you in this tutorial. Let's get started by moving around. So I'm holding down my right mouse button right now just to kind of move the screen around, and this is in visible interactable mode. So if you change modes, which you do with tab, it says right there, it's going to change how you move around. So I hit tab, I'm going to go into blank mode. All of a sudden I don't need to hold down my right click anymore. I can just mouse around and it'll move my screen. If I'm in visible mode, that's hitting tab once more. Same thing. I don't have to hold my right click button down, but I can see my menus and stuff, and if I hit tab again, I'm back to visible interactable. That means I can now see all of my buttons and I can click them. Okay, so but to move around I have to once again hold down right click. Movement, so to move you just hold down your right click and then you press W to move forward, S to move back, A to move left, and D to move right. Okay, then spacebar is up, control is down. It's not Q and E, those don't do anything. Then let's say I want to place a part. So let's go into that first. Very basic stuff. I'm gonna go into this menu over here. This is a build menu, and I'm gonna select a part. Let's do an airlock. We're going to need one of those at some point. And just click it, and now it pops up right here as a hologram. You can see if I mouse over certain places, it's going to turn green. That means it's snapping, and that means that I can kind of just place it there, and it'll be a part of the ship. If it's blue, that means I can place it, but if I place it with left click, it'll just appear yellow. It's a holographic part. It means I can pick it up later, also with left click, and place it somewhere where I need it to be, but that's not officially part of the ship. Okay? So I'm going to place this on the front over here, and also if it's red, let me try to get it to be red. Yeah, that means it's colliding. It means you can't place it. It's going to complain. So there we go. Place it on the front, and it shows up, and there is our airlock. Okay, so we're going to maneuver a little bit over here. Just check it out. Cool. Okay. But let's say I'm envisioning myself as the pilot here, and I don't want this to be blocking my view from inside the cockpit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it right back up, snap it there, and I'm going to rotate it with R. So there, and now you can see a little bit better of a view. Okay, and if I want to move it once more, I'm going to again press R, and there we go, much better. Okay, so that's that. Let's say if I pick up another part, like a joint, for example. Let me place it down over here. Okay. What if I don't want that? What if I want it to be kind of going like down, like kind of facing down from here? Well, I'm going to switch the socket that I'm using. That's the connection point that I'm currently connecting to, which is going to be T. To switch that, see, I just kind of flipped it around. Now I'm using this connection point. Hit it again. Now we're using this one. Okay, so that's kind of what we want. Like this is facing to the side, but now think about it kind of geometrically. We can rotate this, and it'll be going down. So we'll hit R. Going up, okay, R once more, going to the other side, and then R once again. Now it's going down. Let's place that, and there we go. Now we have a connection point there going down. So there are several other kinds of connections though. This isn't the only type. So you see right here, these little things poking out. Those are to connect things like solar panels or radiators or communications antennas. So let's go into that. That's going to be under accessories and science, or that's where all those parts are going to be. So let's place a solar panel right here, for example. Place that, And there we go. We have a solar panel. Cool. Let's place down an antenna. That's necessary at some point. And there we go. Now we have 2 parts like that. Say we want to place down engines because your ship needs engines. How are we going to do that? Well, first you need fuel, then you need the engine. Okay, so what kind of fuel? Well, that depends on the engine. We learned about that in the lesson for like spacecraft construction. But let's say we want a chemical engine. We're going to need some kind of fuel that burns, like kerosene, for example, and we're going to need an oxidizer, which is going to be liquid oxygen in this case. So let's place down some kerosene, and oh, look at that, it doesn't snap. Interesting. Okay, let's place it off to the side for now. We'll figure out why. Oh, that's why. The docking adapter hasn't been placed down. So what does that do? Well, this docking port right here is a pressurized one. That means that humans can go through it. But humans obviously don't need to ever go into a fuel tank, which means the fuel tank can use an unpressurized docking port, and the two look very different. They don't really connect, you see? So in order to connect them, we need a docking adapter right here. And we place it down, it snaps. Then I place the tank on it, and it snaps. And there we go, we have a kerosene tank. Okay, let's place down an oxygen tank, like, let's do a 10 meter. And place it down, there we go. And now we can place an engine somewhere. Let's be a little creative here. Let's go into our engines, place another docking adapter like right here, and place a chemical rocket, that's the one that's going to use this, right here. Why not? Why not have it like that? You know? Still a pretty valid ship design, right? So, let's see, what else can we place? Let's go into this module right here. This is your joint. Inside it, it has all these connections, right? These are like the docking ports that you had before. There's you're gonna find 6 of them inside, and you're also gonna have these little compartments here, right? So what are these for? They are for racks. So if you go out to your main menu and you see racks over here, that's what that is. You can place down a bunch of these to kind of enhance your ship, give it additional functionality. And let's place down an oxygen rack, for example. How are you going to do that? Well, if you kind of mouse over this area, see, like sometimes it pops in. That's because you have to be pointed right at the center, pretty much. So if you're pointed at the center of this rectangle, then you're going to place it, and there it is, right? So that is your oxygen rack. That means you're going to be generating oxygen. Say if you want some water, place down a water rack. There you go. And if you, just to show you where it goes, if you miss it, let's say if I were to face like this way, right, and I want to place down a CO2 rack. This is going to remove carbon dioxide. Let's say if I'm like here, and then I missed it, and I place it. It placed, but where'd it go? It went outside the ship, kind of about here. So I can just pick it right back up, and I can like also move around with it. That's a cool thing I can do. If I hold down right click, I can just kind of move around with it, fly right back in and place it where I need to, or I can just toss it. Okay, so that's that. Let's say I want to place some science parts like here. I can go in there and I can place these on these connections. But let's say, what else might I need? Well, to check that, go to your stats over here and check what you need. Okay, we've got all of our parts, it looks like, that we need. This is the checklist that we have. We need a lander, though. That's the last thing, and that's going to allow you to complete one of the future activities, which is orbital descent. It's going to let you land on the planet that you're going to. Because this kind of ship, it'll break up in the atmosphere. You can't actually land, so you need a specific lander vehicle. To do that, go back out to your part menu, go to landers, and select the only one that's available. And we're going to place it, oh, look at that. We can't really place it there because it's colliding. So, okay, we can place it there. But let's say that this was the only one available and it's colliding. Okay, I'm like, how am I going to work around that? Well, the lander has 2 docking ports. One of them is pressurized, as you can see. But the other one, let's switch to it, activate it with T. And all of a sudden, I can't place it on a pressurized one because this connection is unpressurized. It's right there. So if I place it, there we go. And let's say I thought, oh, this looks kind of bad. It's like on its side. Once again, pick it up, rotate with R, and there we go. Now it's upright and kind of sitting on the back of your ship. Okay, cool. So now we're all good. We check our stats again. We're all good except for mixture ratio. That's something new here, and it basically tells you, okay, your chemical engine needs to take a certain amount of oxygen compared to a certain amount of fuel, and that is off at the moment. So you mouse over it. What does it need to be? 2.3. Okay, so what that means is you need 2.3 times as much oxygen as you need fuel. At the moment, we're 2.8 times, so we're quite a bit over double. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click the oxygen tank, that's the blue one, and I'm going to go into this Edit tab, and I can see here the one that's kind of lighter than the others. The lighter ones are the ones you can edit. Let me just lower that to, say, 200,000, hit Enter, and check this. Okay, now we're exactly at 2. Okay, not so good. Let's raise that up to maybe 240,000 rather. Hit Enter. 2.4. Okay, it's a little bit too much. Let's go to exactly maybe 230,000. And there it is. We're perfect. Okay, cool. So now it's telling me my delta V. That's because all my parts are in place. And it's a little bit low, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's go to the scoring tab now, and this is where we're going to see how we're actually doing in this activity. So looks like we got a good ship mass. We're not too heavy. Looks like our cargo mass is not that bad. Where it's calculated as a fraction of your total mass. So right now we're carrying 50,000 kilograms out of a total of 500,000, and that's our cargo mass, which is pretty good, but it could be a lot better. Then our delta V is just directly calculated off of here. So 5.26 becomes about 52%. That's because our target is 10 kilometers per second, and we're not currently reaching that. Oxygen, we're good. We placed out an oxygen rack. Same with water. But food, we need some more modules for food. And you can explore which ones would give you food. It's going to be one of these pressurized modules will give you quite a bit of food. And you can kind of right-click on it and then go to your Edit tab to see if it's actually giving you food. Just explore that on your own. We got quite a bit of surplus power. That's good. We can place more solar panels or RTGs for that. We talked about nuclear power and solar power in the lesson. That's where it comes into play, is right here. And then we got 1 out of 6 science modules here, like these ones. You can see if I place it down, it increases my score. Yeah, so those, you want to place all 6 if you want to get a perfect score. You need a lot of different science over the course of the mission. But yeah, now we're going to submit our score and see what happens. Okay, that was a high score. Wow, at 67%. Okay, so that means this was a pretty good ship, better than before at least. And what was this in the chat? Let's see. Low delta V. Yep, it's warning me when I submit the score that I have a pretty low delta V, and I should probably try to increase that in order to do better in the activity. Okay, last panel over here is Simulate. And what does that do? Well, it calculates your sustainability. So if I were to just click that, it's going to run an analysis, and it's going to tell me, oh, I'm running out of food and water apparently as well. But yeah, I'm running out of those immediately. And I think that's because I don't have any water storage, so it runs out almost immediately and never can start back up, even though I have a water generator. So you're going to need a module that can give you both food and water. There is one that does that. Up to y'all to find it. Little fun thing. Just explore which one gives you both food and water. It's one of your pressurized modules, as a hint. Yeah, so then, let's see. This tab as well allows you to select parts if you want to select multiple, if you want to edit multiple parts at once. So say if I had like 3 of the same kind of fuel tank, I would select all of them, and I could edit all of them at once. If I select different kinds though, see I can select like all these different kinds of parts, and I go in here and it says multiple values. Whoops, you saw it there. It said multiple values. That meant that we don't have any common like things in between these parts. That's okay, but if you select multiple of the same kind of fuel tank, for example, you can edit all of them at once. Okay, so yeah, now that my ship is done, I want to save it, right? So since I've already submitted my score, it's already saved it. Oh, what is this? Oh yeah, it's a hypothetical sustainability score is 0 because my ship ran out of food in 1 second, not 2 years. So that's that. But let's say if I'm concerned about saving the ship, it already saved it online by submitting it. That's what that did. So it's already locked in, and this is the ship that you'll be using in your spacecraft flying mode, which I'll go into in a little bit. It's always your highest scoring ship. There's no option for that at the moment. You just, whatever ship scored the best, that's the one that you'll be flying around. But say if I want to, let's say create a new assembly. Like say I want to make a new ship because I don't like this one for whatever reason. I can hit create new and it'll just create a new one. Just this default cockpit part is what it'll be, and you can start right from scratch. Say if I want to save this one and then just continue working on it but make it a different version of it, I hit make a copy, it'll copy it. And it'll always save the original as well. It'll auto save it. As far as saving it for real, right now it's called the UAS Feynman. That's the default name for it. It's auto generated. I don't want that. I want to call it, say, Alex Ship Amazing or something. You can give it a better name. And I can give it a description as well. I can save to my computer. That means I'll have access to it always. Or I can save it to the team, which means kind of sharing it to everybody. So if they load up from the team, they can see it there. So let's save it here. Okay, and then get out of this tab. Let's go to the this tab and see. You can select from computer, so you're going to load from your computer. We can see there it is, our amazing ship right there. Or you can load from your team, which we saved it here as well. There it is. You just click on it, hit load. Both of them work the exact same way. And yeah, and you can, if you want to share your auto-saved files, that's on your computer. You're going to have a couple of those. You're going to hit refresh, and now you have some auto-saved files. Okay, so that's how you access those. Yeah, that's about it. That's about it for this. If you ever want to pull up some of those tips and tricks, here's how you do it. If you need the chat, it's here. And then at this point, let's exit out to the main menu, not the desktop. We're going to exit to the main menu, and we're going to talk about the spacecraft flyer. So here we go. Here's the spacecraft builder again, and it has 2 modes. Flyer spacecraft is what we're going to do right now. So we're going to do that. Call it fly ship. And there we go. So here, when you're selecting your role, if you're the person who started the sim, click on pilot. That's going to be, like, you're the one who's going to be piloting the ship. Everyone else is just going to be watching, and they're going to be following along as you fly somewhere. So I'm going to select the pilot, click start simulation, and here are the controls. All the same as the spacecraft builder, except Q and E have been added. You can now kind of like roll your camera, and also for the ship, it's these are the controls to kind of like rotate it around and move it. And I'll go over these as well over here. They're in kind of on the right side of the screen. And you can use the throttle to add speed, like kind of in the direction that your engine's going. Okay, so I'm going to close this. I'm going to, again, same controls. I can move around the same way. I can look at my ship. This is the one that I just built, right? And there it is. And now I can, let's say I want to roll it a little bit. So I'm going to look this way. If I'm looking this way down the ship, kind of like towards where the cockpit's facing, and I hit R, or I press this button, it's going to start rolling me this way. Hit it more and more and more, and it adds kind of a rate. It says -3 degrees per second. Okay, so what that means is you're not, when you click these buttons, you're not setting like an orientation for it to be in. You're not setting like how it should be facing. You're setting at what speed it should be going a certain way. So if I want to make it stop, I'm just going to increase this back to 0. There we go. If I want to make it go a little bit up, I'm going to just press this, pitch it up, maybe pitch it right back down. There we go. Now we're facing a little bit up. And I want it to face to the side. Okay, let's do yaw. So right arrow is going to be this way. And then we're going to try to point like kind of a little bit to the right of the sun. There we go. Let's go this way. right? Except we're not actually going to go this way. When we hit the throttle, we're going to go down. Why? Because our engine is facing kind of a weird downwards way. So let's do that. Look at that. Look at that. We are absolutely zooming through space right now. Oh, just went right through the station. That's not good. But yeah, you can see right now we're heading at a pretty good speed right down on the Earth. So this is because the chemical engine that we put on there has a pretty high thrust, and you have infinite fuel at this point. We're not worried about that. This is just for you to test out your spacecraft, see how it flies. And yeah, we're already going about 2-something kilometers per second. That is very, very fast. You can see our space station up there disappearing into the void of space. Yeah, so this is how you fly your spacecraft, and you can kind of approach it, look at all the parts in detail, and admire the creation that you've built. Yeah, so that's about it for this activity and these, I guess this combination of 2 activities in one. So play around with it. I hope you enjoy it, and yep, have fun overall at this competition. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of y'all's spacecraft. So thank you for listening, and talk to y'all next time in the Habitat Builder tutorial.